Hello painters! Remember this, and this? Well, today I have one of these spoons with me because I am going to do the same but in video format and longer. So you can do the same step by step with me. This is going to be the first part, the easy level, and the next week I am going to post the second part, the hard level. So let's go! So this is going to be the level 1, the easy level, and this is going to be the hard level or medium level, I don't know, because we can see clearly here the blues and the pinks. Maybe this is not a pink, this can be a gray or a white, but in contrast with the blue, this looks like pink, and we are going to do that. On the other hand, in this one, we are not seeing those pinks. Ignore the mess, please, and ignore my reflection on the spoon. In this one, we are not going to see those pinks and blues easily. So this is going to be the medium level. But after we do this is going to be a lot easier. Let's start with this one. I am going to trace it, but making some adjustments. And I'm going to mark where my shadows and shapes are going, but roughly. Let me transform this. I want to make it a bit larger. At least in my opinion, this is way cuter, so I am going to remove the excess. And again, because I don't want to make it like it's floating, I'm going to make a shadow if the light is hitting this way. So now we need to train the eyes. We need to learn to see. We are going to make more vibrant the subtle tones that already are in our spoon. For example, here we have some blues, so these blues are going to be more intense. Here we have another blue, but less saturated and darker. We are going to make another hue of blue to make it contrast with this one. And we are going to make it more saturated. And here, you see this? This is a pink. This is almost white, but turns to pink. So we are going to put a pink. But we have to respect the value. The values need to be the same. For example, we have here a dark value, we have here the darkest value, and here the lightest value. We have to keep that the same. And we are going to forget about the breadth. Instead of using this boring gray, you see that turns to green. So we are going to do that. We are going to use green, more vibrant, but keeping the value. We cannot go lighter. We have to keep the same value. The same here. The same here. This is some cool orange like, depends on when you're touching. So I'm going to do that. I am going to use red without complicating myself too much. Here I have seen that we can use both blue, red, orange. I don't mind. I am going to use orange or reds to make it more colorful. So just subtle. Now this is clear, this is blue. And here again, this is blue. And as we said, here we have another blue, a bit lighter, but not much. I'm going to make this transition here a bit more violet. I don't know. You don't have to take it too seriously, don't worry. It will turn okay. Now I'm going to make this. If you see, if you focus, this is a bit warmer than this. So this part from here and this part from here, if you see, we are already seeing some pinks. Then I'm going to do them, this one in pink and this one in red, for example. And now the pink. And now this part is clearly orange, so the same. So big shapes, don't worry. And I'm going to make them transition a bit, a little gradient, because if you see here, this part is way lighter than this one, so I am going to replicate that. And it's okay if the shapes are getting lost, because then we can correct them. Little transition, we don't need to make a lot of detail here. Bit of ochre, and this part from here is also a bit of ochre. And again, a bit of gradient to orange. Okay, I'm going to do this. If you focus, this is turning into the red scale, so we are going to make it like vibrant red. Not this super vibrant red, but in the middle. This way we'll still make something realistic, but more fun. And I'm going to show you one trick. If you don't have arrays, you can do this with Procreate, but if you are going to make this in real life with traditional paintings, you can use your phone. Let me show you. We all have Instagram, right? So, go into your stories, check the picture, and just use the color drop. Here you have some blue, here you have some pink, here you have some super vibrant teal, here you can see the reddish tones. And little by little, you are going to be able to do this without any tool, just without your eyes. So this is a fun way, quick way to train this. See, here we have some blues, making another gradient to almost white. Here is completely white. We can add more colors if we want. For example, here we don't have any yellow. If we keep our values the same, we can add as many colors as we want. Everything is all about contrast and transitions. For example, here we need a hard contrast between this part from here and this dark part from here. Here we have a nice contrast between this and this. If we respect that, if we are making those the same level of contrast, more or less, the painting overall will be great. And here this part is super blue. And for adding whites, I am going to use the yellow, because the yellow is the complementary of the violets and blues. It will pop out a lot. Don't worry about the edges, because we are going to correct them when we make the background. And now the key is to observe. We have to zoom a lot as we can on the original picture, and we have to see all these little details and make them sketchy but visible. Okay, and here we have some neutral gray, but because this is too close to the blue, we are going to use some orange to make it pop a bit more without making it super different in value. So we need the same value, and this way we are adding more color variety. Take care not to use the highest value in the highlights in general, because later you won't be able to use any white. If you already use whites here, if I add white, it's not going to be visible. But here I didn't use white, I then used the lightest color, so the whites are going to be seen, same as here. So respect the value. This is the most important thing, in my opinion. And now we are going to do the same with the handle. This part was green. Maybe this needs to be a bit darker. We'll see that. This part from here is clearly blue, and this part from here is almost white. But again, we are going to use pink because doesn't it look like pink? And this one is going to be teal. So this is quite easy to see the colors here, but not the brightest teal. Let's make it less intense so we can add some highlights later. And some blue here. We are not going to use this color because if you see, even though we see blue here, this is almost gray. And it's going to look exactly like the picture. So I am making them a bit more saturated. I like a range because the colors get mixed while you paint. I'm going to make a hard edge here with some green. Now I lost this dark part from here. I am going to recover it, and I am going to make it until the end of the spoon. Here we have also some super dark parts, and the pink has some lighter parts. Here maybe making bit of gradient. Here we have this blue. Okay, we are on the level easy, and we are going to make the same background as we see here. If the shadow is here, the light is coming from here, so we are going to make this lighter, this darker. Okay, maybe this is too dark, but this is only for the explanation, okay? And if the viewer is on this part, this needs to be more saturated, more chromatic, and this needs to be almost gray. So we are going to play with that, okay? I like to make the wood a bit pinkish. I'm going to make this super big. Medium chroma, low chroma, okay? And here super intense. And now we are going to make this tone cooler, gradient. I'm going to do that. I am going to make them transition into violet. While you mix those, you are going to have a gradient, so it's going to be okay. Now take care to correct some edges. This is a rough background, but it works. This gives us the illusion that we are in this part and the light is coming from this part, so this is going to help the object. And now for the shadow, I am going to use some reddish tones. Yes, why not? Things that I like to do to make with the backgrounds. Well, first of all, adding a light, super light edge just near the background. For example, we have here this orange. We're going to make it more light. Why? Because we are painting a reflective object, and this object is also reflecting light to the surface it's on, so it's usually nice. Other thing I like to do is adding the edge. I am going to add a picture on the screen so you can see how the light gets separated in shadows, so you get an idea. And we are going to replicate that here, making some warmer edges here, and in the opposite side, cooler edges. We don't have a large shadow here, but this is another thing I like to make in my paintings. You can incorporate it or not. Now I am going to correct some edges. You don't have to be perfect, because you are losing, the more you detail, the more you are losing the painterly effect, and at least for me, I don't like that. But it's nice to make some corrections. And now, lastly, in my metallic paintings, I like to add another extra layer, grab the brush, add some white with a knife, maybe another one here, and with the airbrush the same, just a pinch, because if you add too much, anything will stand out. So this was the level 1. You can see here that the result is pretty the same. We are not going to see a lot of difference here from the original picture to the final piece, because this was quite easy to see the colors. As you can see, the blue is visible, the pink is almost visible, this teal is visible too, so it's going to be quite the same. So now I'm going to leave for the next video the same as we did here, but with this picture. This picture is a lot more difficult than this one, because this is almost entirely gray. You cannot see here the variations. There are no teals, there are no pinks, except for my hair, but you get the idea. So stay tuned, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video with the level 2 of this mini tutorial challenge. Bye!